What's up guys, and welcome back for another EVE Online video. Tonight's quite an exciting one. We are going to run Frontier Barracks in a C4 wormhole. So this is a C4, and the Frontier Barracks is a combat site in the C4, and we are doing it by DualBoxing Nestors. So both of these are mine. This is Wad, that's Stephanie. I've got Stephanie on another monitor, so you won't see her screen in this video. But basically, you can make some goodies doing this in wormholes. Obviously, it's high risk. You're in a wormhole. I have 2 Nestors fully fit, so we're talking between 1.5 to 2 billion ISK on grid. So this isn't the most accessible content in the world, but I've been enjoying it. I've been getting used to dual boxing, and so I thought you guys might find it interesting. So I will just quickly go through the fit because obviously I'm in a wormhole, so I will keep de-scanning as we go through. I will quickly go through the fit. They are not identical. Wad's is all Tech 2 because his skills are much higher. Stephanie is using a sort of a Tech 1 version of the fit, but the important stuff, the armor reps and capacitor, remote capacitor, are Tech 2, so that's equal. Right, but so let's just jump into the fit really quickly. We have got in the rigs remote repair augmenter 1 and egress port maximizer 2s, 2 of them in the rigs. And then in the highs, it's annoying that I've got them laid out like this, but I've got 3 large remote cap transmitter 2s and 3 large remote armor rep 2s, and then a drone link augmenter 2 for drone control range, because these are drone boats, so there's no weapon system. Drone navigation computer 2 for drone speed, micro jump drive to try and help you get away if there are any problems. Wad has a target painter on, which I'll explain in a little bit, whereas Stephanie just has 2 omnidirectional tracking links with the tracking speed script to help the drones out, large cap battery 2 and a second drone nav computer 2, so that's obviously also annoyingly laid out. And then in the low slots we've got some faction and dead space modules, so Imperial, Navy, multi-spectrum, energized membrane, 2 of them, and Corpum C-type explosive, so that you've got relatively even spread, 2 drone damage amp 2s and a damage control 2. And in the drone bays, the drone bays on the Nestors are huge. I'm missing an ogre, but we've got 5 sentry drones, and then 5 small, 5 medium and 10 large drones, plus the ECM drones to fill that up. Because of where my skills are, I tend to use the ogres, but obviously if your skills are in, what are they called, sentries, then you will use them instead. Stephanie's fit is similar, but because her drone skills aren't as good, she uses the Federation Navy versions as opposed to the Tech 2s. And just so, again, this will become more clear when we're running the site, and you'll be able to see what's being transferred and things. But the idea between running these is that they repair each other, and they've got no local repair. They repair each other and they give each other capacitor. And you're looking at 768 per every 6 seconds per armor rep, and that's the same for Stephanie. So that's what, 2,200 and something armor every 6 seconds. And for the remote cap, it transfers 351 every 5, but it only costs 187 to run it. So you're gaining, like 170 capacitor each time you run one of these. And so that's the idea. That's how they are cap stable. Even though in the fit, obviously they aren't cap stable at all because it doesn't recognise the remote capacitor coming in. That's how they become cap stable, because you run that. And you'll see in my cargo hold I've got some warp core stabilizers. I've got even more stuff in Stephanie's, because one of the nice things about the Nestors is they have a ship maintenance bay. So if you're close enough to another Nestor, you can just refit your ship. So it uses the ship maintenance bay of a close nester, and you can just unfit that and fit something else. So I've got warp core stabs in case I get into trouble, just to help me get away that little bit more. So that's a quick overview of the fit. Let's jump into the site because it takes somewhere close to 20 minutes. We'll see more accurately now.
Warp drive active.
I did that wrong. So what I should have done, and because I'm running this, I'm distracted, is warp squad, and I would warp both of them here, because the idea is once you land on the site and do setup, everything is then controlled through your one account. So I've messed up slightly already, which is obviously good because I'm distracted because I'm talking. So when I run the setup, when we land, I will try and talk through what I'm doing, but I've got to do it quickly to be able to tank the incoming damage. So we'll wait for Stephanie to land as well. Hopefully she'll land close. There she is. So I will try and lock Stephanie as soon as I can. And we're locking WAD on Stephanie, and on Stephanie I'm turning on all my high slots, and on WAD turning on all my high slots. Here comes the incoming damage. And then on Stephanie we anchor up, which means keep at range. So I've got Stephanie, I've just got her keeping range at 500 meters to WAD, which now means that as I move WAD around, Stephanie will just stay within 500 meters all the time. Keep hitting D-scan. And you can see that I'm getting armor rep. And then the next thing to do is on my ult, drop drones. So she's launching her drones, you'll see them pop out there. And then you set them to assist WAD, which I'll try and show you how to do on WAD now as well. So WAD is going to be my drone bunny. So we will drop WAD's drones. Obviously if I'm not talking through this all happens a bit faster. And the way you do that, just to demonstrate that sound by the way, was them changing target to Stephanie, so you'll see her chunk damage now. The way you set up a drone bunny is you right click on your drones and go assist, and then select the person you want them to assist. So I did this on Stephanie so that WAD is the drone bunny. So that's what that is. Then lock up the targets. You need to be aware of your triggers. There are websites for this. UniWiki, Eve Wiki is good. Eve University is good for this. I like it. And I know Frontier Barracks now off by heart. But the trigger in this wave is the Sleepless Preserver. So you want to leave that till last, so you don't trigger the next wave. However, my drone control range is 81 kilometers. So on WAD, I'll send my drones out to that so that they start their long journey, because they're heavy drones, they're quite slow, and then when we get in range of this one I will send them over to him. Now what I would also do is obviously send Stephanie's drone using WAD as the drone bunny as well. There we go, so now we'll swap over to there. But because her skills are much lower, her drone control range is less, 74 kilometers I think. So when I get within 74 on WAD, but when I get in 73, because Stephanie's a kilometre behind me, activate an aggressive module, which is why I've got the target painter, and you'll see Stephanie's drones now go as well, right? So we've done all of that using WAD. And again, once again, I'm going to turn that off now, because when I get within 70 to 73 kilometres of this guy, I will activate the target painter again so that Stephanie's drones head over there instead. So that's how drone bunnies work. Obviously I'm not doing the best description of all this stuff at the moment because I have to get set up at the beginning. But now we're set up, it should all be nice and easy. So they've made it to there. Let's trigger that. So yeah, that's how a drone bunny works. If your drones are, someone is assisting their drones on you, or they've set their drones to assist you, you need an aggressive module, which the target painter is considered. And now I'm in range, I'm just going to stop my ship. There's no point signature tanking. So that's what the target painter is doing, basically, it's not really achieving anything except it's allowing WAD to control Stephanie's drones. So I can do everything on this screen now that the setup is done without going over to Stephanie. That's done, so send my drones, send Stephanie's drones, and that will just happen nicely. And you can see the tank holds fine at this wave. It's the second wave in this site that has the most incoming DPS, but you'll see the tank holds absolutely fine. And you see the capacitor becomes stable around about here. It looks dodgy because it chunks down and then chunks back up, but that's because of the incoming capacitor from here. And then obviously we send all of our things out, which then chunks down, and it just hovers around there. And it looks the same on Stephanie's window as well. So one of the reasons I like the Frontier Barracks is, I'm also just going to drop my MTU while I'm here, so that we can start putting the loot in. That would have been annoying to forget. One of the reasons I like the Frontier Barracks is because the first wave is not too stressful, so you can get set up like that, just DualBoxing. And actually you're never in any real risk. There's one of the C4 sites which there isn't in this wormhole, so I can't quite remember what it's called, where the second wave does get a bit dodgy. The incoming DPS is very high because of a sleepless safeguard, and if they don't switch aggro, you can get in some serious trouble. The other thing, by the way, if you don't know much about sleepers, is they have big armor resist, but they have no shield at all. Big armor resists, and then no structure resists. So once you're through the armor, it goes very quickly. So second wave, 2 cruisers, 3 battleships. The battleships are the trigger, so I just take out the cruisers first, especially as they are preservers, so they have remote armor reps on them. And then the battleships will go second. If you were worried about the incoming DPS, you could take out 2 of the battleships and leave 1, do the cruisers, then take out the third one. But you'll see here that whilst the DPS is high, your remote rep, as we discussed, you rep over 2000 HP every 7 seconds. So it just chunks all the way back up. And as soon as you start taking some of the damage off the field, it's not a problem at all. All sleeper sites in wormholes that are C-class C4 or below only have 3 waves. So you have to worry about the trigger in wave 1 and 2, but in the third wave you don't have to worry at all. And so, if you can see by the way there, we'll demonstrate again on, I'll go for that one because they will just push out to the same range. Incoming DPS hit quite hard there, so thanks. Suffering a little bit, but again, not really worried because we've lost the cruisers. There is a little bit of nuke pressure. These guys, the upholders, do nuke a little bit, cap neutralize, but it's not enough to really make a dent. If you do start to get concerned about it, then the person that's got aggro, you could turn off one of the remote cap transfers for a short period, and that should allow that to come back up a little bit. But you have to keep an eye on your other character's capacitor because you're not transferring them as much. But as I say, I'm not worried about it because I know I have to target Stephanie because I know the cap can cope fine. Always just checking D-scan, by the way. You need to make it second nature, and once you get to structure, you'll see they just melt. But yeah, D-scan is your best friend in the wormholes. You need to be pressing that as often as you can, just making sure nothing unexpected comes up. And when you've got this sort of ISK on the field, just try and get safe. If you see anything that you don't like, just make yourself safe. That is difficult if you were, if I was doing this properly, which I really should be, I'd have a prototype cloaking device in here, or improved cloaking device, so that we could refit and cloak up in a safe spot. Stephanie does have one in her cargo hold, but what doesn't, which is a silly sort of mistake to make when you're risking this much, but it is what it is. Just another thing to note, they look funny when they connect to each other. I do like the Nestors, although in my opinion they look like they're flying backwards. This should be the back end and that should be the front end, I think, but you know. What was I about to say? Oh, just the sort of obviously the purpose of running these sites is for the blue loot and the ISK you can make, and it's not insignificant at all. You can see sort of how quickly we're getting through this with 2 Nestors. It takes around about 20 minutes. We're pulling in, I think this site is 84.1 million, I think. Let me just check actually, because it says on there, sorry, 86.7 million. So 86.7 million in 20 minutes. I ran 4 sites a couple of nights ago in about an hour, well under an hour and a half, and pulled in 347 million. So that's pretty good money. That obviously, if you're splitting that over 2 pilots, it's more like 175 million. So maybe 150 million an hour. So not quite incursion money, but pretty close. But obviously when both accounts are yours, you can give it to whoever you want. This wave spawns a little bit far away, and if you will, so you can just start approaching with WAD, one of the battleships. The frigates come in close quickly. The ogres are good enough at taking them out with the tracking scripts, so send them off, and then when they get in range, activate the target painter so that Stephanie's go as well. So all the drones should be on their way, and you'll see that they apply well enough, because when they miss quite a lot, but when they do hit, it's a lot of damage, so they just melt them. If you are worried about the damage application, you can obviously swap to hammerheads or hobgoblins or something, but you should see that once the drones get there, they start to go pretty quickly. There's one. Let's go for this one because it's closer. And start locking up the cruisers. Something to bear in mind once you've gone through the frigates is the first cruiser is actually really surprisingly difficult to take out. Obviously it doesn't have that much tank, but all of the ships on grid are preservers, so they all have remote armor reps, including the 2 battleships. So the first cruiser you're trying to take out is receiving a lot of remote reps. Sometimes it doesn't work like that and you get through it nice and quickly. Other times I'm only just applying enough DPS to get through the remote reps. Once you've taken one out, the rest fall nice and easily because you've taken off that little bit of remote reps. So we'll see how it works out this time around. I've chosen to go for the one that's slightly isolated from the others. I don't think it really makes a difference, but if it does, like if there is a range thing, then better to try and exploit it. And as you can see, like, WAD's not taking any damage anymore. Stephanie is, and it looks scary. It looks like a big chunk of damage in one go, but then you just repair it all the way back up and it doesn't matter. So we'll just keep an eye on this. Normally I get to about here and then they start repping it back up. So we'll just see how we get on. So I would expect a chunk back up, but they haven't done so. So this should go a little bit quicker than normal, so that's good. Oh, there we go, the big chunk. But they didn't do it successfully enough, so we got through nice and fast. I've run a couple of these where that chunk happens much earlier and they do it several times, and it's quite a lot of remote rep to get through. One thing you will have to be aware of if you're flying around all the time is because of the skill differences, your accounts might have different flying speeds. So WAD's going at 81 meters per second, Stephanie's only going at 75, so very slowly a gap will open up. That is a problem because your remote cap is only 9,750 meters, and so if you break that range, your whole cap chain and breaks down, which then means your remote rep chain breaks down, and you very quickly lose your ship. So once I get into range of the battleships for Stephanie, so once I get down to about 70 kilometers, I will stop my ship. But you just have to be aware, so just keep an eye on the distance. This less than 3k is obviously absolutely fine. takes a while to build up the gap, but if you're not paying attention, it gets there quickly. And I almost fell foul of that in, again, it was a different site where they had webs, and so one of my guys was webbed. I think it must have been Stephanie was webbed and one wasn't, so the gap opened up nice very quickly, and I noticed at about 8.5k. So rectified it, but if it had gone maybe another 10 seconds, I'd have broken the cap chain and lost my ship, pretty much. And it would happen quickly. Like, you can see the damage that they do that you then rep through. So they can get through your ships quickly if you don't have the remote reps on. We're now in plenty of range, so stop the ship. And you'll see Stephanie will just drift on up and they'll look a bit odd. These last two take a couple of minutes to get through, but you can see the site is finished. These are the last two battleships in the site, so that's all good. While this is going on, I'm not going to wait for all of the loot to be pulled in to show you how much is worth. You'll have to take my word for it that it's 86.7 million. It is always the same. That's one of the nice things about sleeper sites, is you know exactly what you're going to get out of them when you run them. There's no variable in loot drop or anything. The blue loot is always the same. If you wanted to, you should also salvage the wrecks. So I have them empty use bookmarked, and I'll probably come back later and salvage the wrecks once I've finished running a few sites. Because you get Tech 3 salvage, so it's the sort of stuff you can build Tech 3 cruisers and Tech 3 destroyers, so what are they called, Confessors for a destroyer, or Tengu or Loki or something. You need those. And these are also a good example of the armour. You see how long it's taken to get through the armour, because they have 70% resists, and once we get to structure, it will just disappear nice and fast. And he'll also be receiving reps from the other one. So the first one is much slower. Once that's dead, this one goes quite quickly. You can see the incoming damage types. They do omni damage, and different sleepers have different damage profiles. So obviously the sleepless preservers you would want to attack over here, but some of the other sleepers in the site have damage profiles that are focused over on this side. So you just need to have as good an omni tank as you can. There's no point really trying to stack one for one specific sleeper type in the C4s, and at least running a Frontier Barracks anyway. I haven't been hitting D-scan often enough. I do get a bit distracted when I make videos. It's not very good. It's not a great example to show you guys, but also recording increases my risk significantly because I stop paying quite so much attention. But it is what it is, and that's all good. So when we finish the site, we'll flick to the giveaway, but whilst we're just doing the last battleship, I will mention it as well. You're going to get one of these fitted to WADS standard, so all the Tech 2 fittings, but obviously you can, if you can't fly those fittings, you can refit to the Tech 1 drones and things, which is where most of the skill points are, and a lovely skin, courtesy of Kovacs. So the ship is from Cal, who you can't see it because it's blurred, but who's in here, and the skin is courtesy of Kovacs, which again I'm jealous of because I don't have a skin, as you can see, but he said I wasn't allowed to keep it and it was for a giveaway, so there it is, you lucky lot. Obviously one of these won't do you much good if you're flying by yourself, so if you need to sell it for the ISK, that's fine. Last thing to do is remember to pull your drones in on both accounts. I'm going to align to the last combat site whilst we wrap this up. What was I saying? Yeah, pull your drones. It's also just so you pull your cap back, turn all your stuff off. You don't have to because the cap is fine, but just to make sure. And yeah, stick around. I will go into the giveaway now. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the site. If you want to do this yourself and you haven't got anyone to do it with, join us. Join Disaster Area. Look me up in game, look what up in game, and you will find our corporation. And through the corporation, there's our recruitment channels and people to talk to and stuff. So just look us up if you want to come and do this. We run these semi-regularly, like I run them myself because I DualBox, but we run fleets of these with more nesters in it for faster site running and a bit more safety. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Stick around for the giveaway. See you in the next one. Cheers. Alright, and then just as mentioned, onto the giveaway to wrap this video up. It's a pretty big one. As mentioned, is one of the nesters that you've just seen, courtesy of Cal Ichthor from Disaster Area. He has sponsored this giveaway, so he's put up close to $1 billion of his own cash to give up one of these nesters, and fully fit to be remote rep set up as we saw in this video. That's value at time of recording. With the industry changes coming up, the nester is bound to get much more expensive, because it is battleships generally are going to be more expensive, and the nester requires more materials than anything else. So it's $1 billion at time of recording. Hold on to it for a month and it's going to get much more expensive. So if you don't want it, sell it. But I hope you use it to come and join us down in Wormhole space and earn some of that lovely ISK. And alongside it, another skin, once again sponsored by Kovacs. So thank you to Kovacs. So we're going to do this all in one big giveaway, because this is actually my long overdue 500 subscriber special giveaway. So this is the Nester Sisters of Eve Gold Cell skin, which is really nice. Again, as I said in the video, I don't have my own Nester skin, so I am pretty darn jealous. And I think it's worth, in the store, I think it's 110 plex. So that's very generous of Kovacs to stump this up. So yeah, in order to enter the giveaway, which is the full nester, fully fit with the gold cell skin, to enter you have to be subscribed to the channel. There's a 500 subscriber giveaway, so make sure you subscribe. If we can push up to 1,000, we'll do an even bigger one, bigger than this, which is madness. So subscribe to the channel, must be subscribed to enter. You have to like the video and leave a comment below with your in-game name. Just in-game name is all that's required, but if you comment below just with your experience in Wormhole, and what you might do with the ship if you win it, that would be awesome. I look forward to chatting to a lot of you. The giveaway will run for until next Saturday. So what's that going to be? The 17th. We'll keep the giveaway open until the 17th. So yeah, this is me giving back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for all of you being subscribed, all being part of the channel. It means a huge amount. I hope you continue to enjoy it. I want to keep bringing you content. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the giveaway, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.